Hello, eRank, and welcome to another Thursday eRank Live with me, Pam Duthie, and her, Starla Moore. Never sure which side you're going to come in on. It's always the same side, but who knows? And hopefully you should be seeing us either on Facebook or YouTube for our weekly asking all your questions about ETSI and eRank. And yeah, hopefully we have a good amount of stuff to chat about today.
Oh, yes. I've got both chats up. I've noticed that YouTube and Facebook have different levels of lag, but as always, we have a post that goes up every Wednesday in the group. That way, those who can't be here live can get their questions in early. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure that you click the link in the video description. That way, you can join the group and take advantage of cutting in line every Wednesday by getting those questions in. So we're going to start with those, and then we'll get to questions in the group, but we also have some I want to say exciting announcements. They're not all bad.
Announcement.
They're not that exciting.
Yeah. No, there wasn't much.
No, we have some subpar announcements to share with you all today. And then hopefully you guys can think of some good questions to occupy our time for the next hour. So let me pull up our questions. Okay. All right. First question is from Cheryl. She asked, my shop has been effectively inactive since April. The prospect of relaunching effectively is driving me nuts. Seems overwhelming. What are 3 helpful videos or resources for sellers who need to get caught up on recent changes and or changes on the eRank platform I need to quickly know about, and or general selling tips to help me get relaunched? Inactive since April. We've actually had quite a few updates since April. We've had nothing insane, nothing that's gonna, hold you back that I think that every seller must know about. But there is updates to the Etsy algorithm that now identifies keywords used in your descriptions. However, they aren't as impactful as some people believe that they are. We've done a lot of testing. Anthony Wolf did some testing, and basically we found that Etsy's just using them as another added layer of reinforcement. So when you're writing your descriptions, just write them as you normally would. And if you can get some keywords, I mean, for the most part, you're already going to use keywords about your products when you're writing those descriptions. So it shouldn't be too much extra work for you. Other than that, I mean, Pam and I both make update videos a lot on our own channels. I just did an episode of the Friday Bean, and it was like Etsy updates you might have missed. And I go over all of the updates that we've had since summer, I believe. Pam, do you have any other updates that...
I'm racking my brain. There have been things, but I don't think they're not massive that would affect you really relaunching your shop again. The basis of SEO is still the same. Find good keywords, put them in your title and tags, take good photographs. Everything else is a little changes. Melanie, thank you so much. Yes, the returns policy, I believe that just went into effect. So
October
that
30th.
now you have, yeah, it was the first. So all of your listings will have individual return policies on them. And it's very simplified policies that basically this can be returned in this number of days, and that's about it. But it's fairly simple, and if you look in your listings, just scroll down. It's like having delivery profiles set up. You can have return profiles, so that means if you have a mix of personalized and ready-made items and digital items, then there's that can be, each can be categorized slightly different. And that's the main one that needs looked into. Everything else, yeah. Oh, Linda, I think this is great. Everyone's just answering the questions for us. eRank is a new front page that's easier to use. I'm trying to remember all the changes we've had on eRank since the spring. I can't remember everything that came in. When was traffic? I guess it was traffic stats, but
yeah, we've got traffic stats, which if you connect Google Analytics to your Etsy account, you can now connect that Google Analytics account to your eRank account and get some additional data. We now have print on demand data in our monthly trends report. You can scroll down the different categories and see top trending keywords for shirts, tote bags, phone cases, just the most popular items in print on demand. Other than that, I think that the interface has gotten a lot easier to use. We've got that nice new landing page, but I don't think that we've had any.
Flights, what we just released
Oh yeah,
last
that's
week.
brand new.
Yeah. See, both of our memory is absolutely terrible. So we're now in the top menu bar. You'll see there's an extra section for sites. We spoke about it just last week, I think. So if you can check the video for that and see, but it's just basically a high level so you can look at the popularity of, and I'm going to say big sites. This is where you can compare Etsy to Amazon to Redbubble, which barely shows anything, you know. I'm sure we all jumped in and checked our own blog or something, or our own website immediately, but there's nothing there from our own stuff. It's for comparing, like, what's the best platform to sell on? How does this compare to that? Is Etsy down a little bit compared to something? But yeah, that's a cool little one. But all of these, I think, if you're launching your shop, it depends if it's been closed since the spring or if you've just kind of left it to one side since the spring. If you've left it to one side since the spring, but it's still been open, you can dive in and get your keywords and see what's working and do the normal basics. If it's been closed and you're wanting to know what to do before opening it, open it. Do all the other things afterward. It's so very nearly Christmas. Like, you can do any tweaking afterwards, but there's nothing massive to learn that's different. And listings sitting waiting to be tweaked can't sell, but active listings that are maybe not as perfect as they could be, they can still have a chance to sell.
Exactly. There have been no updates that could keep you from selling right now. So get those listings up and then work to tweak things. All right. Abigail and Linda have questions that kind of go together. And for those who are just joining us, we hit the questions that were submitted on Wednesday first. Thankfully, there's not a lot of them, but then we're going to get into the questions that you guys are submitting in the live chat, both on YouTube and on Facebook. So Abigail said, if we respond to a customer review, it's locked in, right? I know that's how it works. If they leave a bad review, what if they leave a 4 or 5-star review? Does our public response lock that review in too? And then Linda had asked, does anyone know if buyers are notified when you respond to their reviews? They're not notified. In fact, I just scripted and I'm recording right after we're done here. I'm recording my video for Tuesday where I talk about bad reviews and about how responding to those reviews, they'll not get notified. They'll likely never see a response. Always write that response as if you are talking to future customers who are looking at that review thinking, oh, why did they only get 3 stars or 2 stars? Always respond in a way that is, showing your best face for those future customers. But Pam, let's see, if we respond to a customer review, is it locked in even if it's 4 or 5-star reviews?
As far as I know, yes,
Yep.
it is locked in. So let's make sure. Well, if someone leaves you a 5-star review, perfectly, yes, answer, lock it in. That's absolutely fine. And then that's the end of it. If they're leaving you a lower star review, I wouldn't lock it in until. What I'm seeing is a lot of people see like a 1, 2, 3, or even a 4-star review, and you take it personally and you get offended and you think it's not fair. And I get that, but it's not personal. Quite a lot of the time, it's probably not even anything to do with you. Like, if the shipping was slow and Etsy thinks it's already there and sends them a prompt to review it, and the customer's like, what can I review? I have nothing, 1 star. So don't get mad. Don't respond to it until you spoke to your customer. So don't think, oh no, this is over. This is the transaction over. This is what's happened. Just go, okay, I've got some feedback. The customer's not happy. I'm not going, how do I improve this star? I'm saying, how do I do good customer feedback? This process is still open. So message them and find out what was wrong and if you can do anything to improve it. And then if you can't, exactly like Starla said, what you're responding is for the other people that are going to read it afterwards. So don't be angry, don't be unprofessional, but just point out the things that you've done and how in general you try and help all your customers, and you're really sorry you couldn't help this one.
Absolutely. And in the video, this spoiler alert, in the video that I'm publishing on Tuesday, I recommend messaging that customer with several different resolutions that they can choose from. It gives them a little bit of control. It makes them feel a little bit of ownership over the choice that they've made. But the options that you offer should all be within, what you're able to do. So a couple examples is the customer returns the item and you give them a refund, which is fine. The seller issues a partial refund or a refund for the shipping price. This is good if, maybe the product arrived late, or maybe there was like a little bit of damage, but they still want to keep it. You could give them a partial refund. You could offer them a coupon code for a future purchase. Um, they could send you back the item and you could exchange it for a different item. And obviously this is all going to just depend on your business and what you're able to do. But then after that, and they make their choice on which of those resolutions they want, you can send them something like, thank you so much. If you're satisfied with this resolution, it would help me a lot if you considered updating your review to reflect your experiences once X, Y, and Z has arrived. So once, your new product, like maybe they exchanged it, once your new product has arrived, um, you could do this. And then, just let them know that if they have any issues at all, they can communicate with you. Because nobody wants to leave a bad review. Nobody's like, oh goody, I get to leave a bad review. They obviously
Very strange person.
they just want their problem solved. So if you are polite and you just politely ask them, based on this new experience or this new item that you're receiving, or based on how we've handled this, if you would be willing to update your review, that would be great. I wouldn't message them and say, hey, go update your review, but letting them know, like, hey, it's an option. If you feel like this was handled well, it would help me. So
Yeah, that's a nice way to say it. The other thing I will say, if you've messaged them and you've not heard anything, you
don't bug
can,
them.
if you go into their order, you can find their email, and it's not creepy to email them. Sometimes, especially guests or new customers, don't like their notifications for messages might go to their spam folder or something. So if you email them, then there's a chance they haven't even seen your responses. So yeah, definitely make sure they're actually seeing what you're saying.
Yeah. And Melanie, she had a great point. She said, I had a 1-star review from a customer. It was a lovely customer and we spoke a lot. I asked what went wrong and it was by mistake. All his reviews went to 1 star by Etsy's error, and changed to 5 stars. Yeah. And I've seen that a lot too, where customers, they'll think that they'll leave a 1-star review and then the caption will be like, I loved it. It was great. And you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, I've wondered sometimes if people think they have to fill in each star.
So they're
They
like,
go to, yeah, so they click one and then they were going to click two, but they've already left you a 1-star review or something.
yeah. All right. I'm assuming that your name is Ivana. Can you please interpret the Q3 earnings data, since I'm not sure if they're looking good? And Pam, didn't we just
Yeah,
discuss
we've been
this?
talking about it. I haven't actually written the numbers down because I plot a graph for that. I'll put the graph up in the group when I'm finished here, actually, and you can see what's happening. Um, but yes, I sat and listened to the earnings call and everything because there's usually some interesting nuggets in that. Do we want to get to them now, or should we tease
That
them
was
for a
the
little bit?
last one from the Wednesday, and there aren't a lot of questions in the actual chat. We will get to your questions that are in the chat for those who are on YouTube and on Facebook, but I think that we could go ahead and squeeze in the earnings, the Q3 report. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to hear Etsy's Q3 report? This is great information for us to know because it can kind of help us predict what the upcoming season is going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a thumbs up if you want us to go through this. I put a link to the presentation slideshow that's in the Facebook group. If you've missed it, it is the presentation you can watch. That's the earnings call. You see the whole presentation. It's an hour long and it's a lot. But you can just go through the slides and you get the basics of it, which is what I usually do. But I listen to the call as well because sometimes you get some little nuggets, which I think hopefully I got some little nuggets. Um, so are people wanting this, or should we go on to
Yes,
the people are
they
wanting this?
they want it.
Okay. As I say, the numbers, well, just roughly what I've written down. I haven't gone through all the numbers, but it does look as expected. Things have kind of flatlined from last year or are down slightly. This is what we all expected anyway. And myself and Starla were speaking before we came in. I'm sure Starla will mention that in a minute when I'm done here. But it is looking that things are starting a little bit later for the holiday season, and we have theories. But that being said, Etsy is 2 times bigger than it was 3 years ago. So that's been some pandemic for Etsy, if nothing else. Couple of really big little juicy nuggets I spotted. Josh Silverman, the big bug at Etsy, mentioned there's been an update in iOS in Apple products. I don't know if anyone's noticed this. I am not in fruit-based technology, so I didn't
Me
get a
neither.
chance to test it. But they've just started on Apple the ability to search by image. So you can, if you've seen something, it's like, oh, I really like something like that. I don't know how to describe it. You can upload a picture into the Etsy search to search for things to get seen by. Now that was just this is what I mean by the nugget. So this was just a quick thing that he mentioned. But this is really interesting because this says to me they've been looking at sort of image recognition software, which slightly says, this is only me speculating, but it really says we want to make sure that our images are clear of what they're supposed to be. And one thing I always do with that is you can right click, or if you've got Google Lens on your phone or something, you can right click on your picture and search for the picture on Google, and Google tells you what it thinks the picture is. So that can be a handy way. I'm sure the recognition on Etsy isn't the same as Google, but it's still kind of cool to see, does Google recognize that's a picture of a ring, or does it think it's an alien spaceship? That would be important. And Josh didn't say anything about this, but also in my head, I'm saying to myself, maybe I should make sure I've got alt text on my pictures. Just a thinking there. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting one. Other thing that they mentioned is they're wanting to get people basically buying quicker. They want to make the experience even better. So the personalization algorithm is planning on getting even smarter, not just for search, but those personalized emails or the pics for you on the front page and everything. They're really wanting to get the right thing to you before you even search. So that could certainly be interesting. What that's going to mean for us in the future is something we're all going to have to think about. But yeah, sounds cool. They did suggest that Etsy still has loads of new ideas for improvements, so that probably means more tests coming up.
Hopefully
But
after the holidays.
hopefully after the holiday, they don't usually do big changes in the holiday period, so hopefully they've got stuff in planning for the new year. And yeah, the final thing was they were tempering expectations. This is the shareholder investor report. So they seem to be tempering expectations for not expecting a massive holiday period. That's whether, well, they do have more data than the rest of us have, but we can't predict the future. We don't know what's going to happen, but things are very different than they were. They did mention, which oddly I had forgotten, like Q1 of this year, there was a little peak in sales and stuff because there was an extra COVID surge and people stopped shopping again. So we're expecting that Q1 of next year is going to be down on Q1 of this year because that was an unexpected spike. So we've still been seeing fluctuations because of that lurgy kicking about. So yes, nobody knows what this Christmas season is going to be like, basically. But you'd spotted something there, Starla, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So I went and did a general search of just Christmas on eRank, because we have our bright and shiny new October data. If you haven't done any recent searches on some of your most popular keywords, be sure to go do that. But the search for Christmas this year, it's still very high. It's definitely in October. It spiked a lot, but not as much as October last year. And I have a theory, and it's purely speculation, and let me know what it's like in your guys' areas. But I believe that this year has been unusually warm, at least where I am. And I know a lot of my friends have mentioned, around the world, that it's been a little bit warmer where they are for this season than it would normally be. Um, and I think that as the weather gets cold and we start changing our habits towards cold weather, I think that the things that we eat, I know during cold weather season, we're always lighting up our fireplace and we're making soups and things. Um, I think that these habits tend to get us thinking about Christmas a lot earlier. And I think because it's been a little bit warmer, we've been a little bit more reluctant to make these big shifts, which could be also altering people's desire to shop earlier. Whereas last year, it got colder a lot sooner. So, like I said, this is purely speculation. And obviously, it's going to vary depending where you are. Some of you have posted pictures where you're like, right before Halloween, I saw a bunch of people posted like a big snowstorm that hit. So, this is going to be completely dependent on where you live. But it does feel like Christmas, or I should say fall, lasted a little longer in terms of even major retail. I saw the fall decor and stuff stuck around a lot longer. Whereas in recent years, by the time Halloween is actually here, most of the stores already have Christmas. And even some of the major retailers like Target have been a little slow getting their Christmas stuff out. So who knows? Hopefully we see things pick up a little bit, but if we notice that things are a little slower gearing up, that might be it. Melanie said, I'm in Europe. It's hot too. And Pam, you just said that you're in the UK as well. It's a
It's
little,
pretty hot still, yep. It's still every time I go out, you're like, "Did I really need to put this coat on?" It's
yeah,
it's not hot, it's not cold, it's just it's not right for this time of year. I noticed someone else did say a thing earlier on, which was basically, "How's it November already?"
yeah,
And so many, it's not just because I'm getting old, but so many people are saying this. I think this year has just gone so quickly as well that it's caught us all napping. It's like, oh, I should be buying my Christmas things. Because I personally, in my shop, just over a week ago, I just suddenly noticed it went from nothing to 100 miles an hour. And I wasn't ready for it. No matter how much I tell you guys all to get ready, I wasn't ready for it. But yeah, that's much. Usually, I'm like starting to get busy in October, and it's ramping up. Whereas it just went nothing to 100 miles an hour. So I get the feeling that yeah, people are just going to wake up and go, "I've got Christmas gifts to buy."
yeah. And that is all the more reason that you guys should be preparing for that Cyber Week. Like Etsy's Q3, or I'm sorry, Q4 report last year, they made 43, or the platform made $43,000 per minute during that 5-day Cyber Week sale. And that is going to be starting on the 24th. So we've only got 3 weeks. Like, that's not a lot of time to prepare. If you've got things that you've been waiting to do, you need to make sure that you're doing that stuff and getting yourself prepped as soon as possible. All of the things that you've been putting off, like the alt text, if you want to add listing videos, if you haven't posted your holiday shipping deadlines yet, this is the time to really get butts in gear, because all it's going to take is Mariah Carey playing in all the stores, and all the stores putting up their Christmas decorations, and all the commercials on TV shifting to the holiday adverts for people to remember, oh crap, that's right, it's Christmas time. And I feel like my personal predictions are that it's not going to be as crazy as it was last year. but I still think that we're gonna have our tidal wave. I still anticipate a tidal wave, and I still anticipate there'll be plenty of businesses, like Pam said, that take off just overnight because customers suddenly decide, "Oh, time to shop." So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, and you've just reminded me of some oh, no, Etsy sent an email out just before I came live talking about what they're gonna do to help us with the shipping over Christmas. And firstly, they're gonna be updating the all the shipping times, and Etsy are going to send out an email if it looks like a customer's thing's gonna be late because of the shipping company. So we might have to watch
Ooh.
not to overly send out emails now. But so Etsy's gonna be on top of that, and they're offering another thing that's something that I used to do when customers order stuff way too late for Christmas, but want it sent anyway. Etsy have now created a little card. It's not a very good one. It might be best for you to make your own little PNG thing for customers, but it just basically says, "Woohoo, somebody's bought you something lovely from Etsy. It's on its way." And this is something that I used to do years ago, should still do, is just make that little card. And if shipping's looking late, or if a customer says, "Can you do something for me in time for Christmas?" It'd be like, well, I can do it and I can send it. I can't guarantee it would be there. So why don't you print out this little thing that has a picture of what's coming your way, and then that's something for the person to have on Christmas Day that they know's coming to them. So I thought it was pretty cool that Etsy's they've made a little thing for you to an official thing for you to send to people. So
Yeah. You should forward me that email. I just checked my account to see if I got it, and I did not. And I would like to maybe mention that in my video tomorrow.
yeah,
That's
it
good to
m-
know.
it might have been a UK thing, or they're rolling it out. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but I will send you it. I won't do it just now because I'll blow up things.
Yeah.
But yep,
Interesting. All right. Okay, so now we're going to get to the questions that were posted in the group. I'm going to go all the way back, so I apologize if we're going way, minutes and minutes and minutes from when we started. But um, let's see. W W asks, I'm sure W stands for something like wonderful or Wanda or look at the cute little kitty in your profile picture. Um,
absolutely.
does Etsy change your position in search if you lengthen your processing time? I was stressed out with 26 orders due on a single day, so changed my processing time and now have no new orders.
I do this often. It doesn't change your position in search, but some customers it could reduce your conversion a little bit if customers click on your listing and go, "Oh, that's not gonna be here for a long time." But there's nothing you can do. Um, it's just you've had a fantastic amount of orders. But yes, I do this all the time because everything on mine is handmade, so it takes variable amounts. And I've checked and I've looked, and my position in search doesn't like immediately change because of I've changed my processing time. If customers keep on clicking on the listing and not buying, then and they're buying somebody else's stuff, then you might drop in search due to the extended shipping time and customers' behavior, but I'm not aware of shipping time being a factor in search.
Yeah. And obviously we do have the filters where customers can search via filters, but that's through their own selection. They can filter by anything. They can filter by all kinds of things, like lowest price first, highest price first. Sometimes I like to filter by highest price first just because I'm curious. What
Yeah,
is the most expensive couch pillow on Etsy?
well, I think some people do put their listings like that just so that people who filter by that can see the crazy thing. Because I remember once, because I do needle felting, and I thought, oh, let's see what the most expensive was, and it was about $40,000 for a life-size dog. And I'm pretty sure that was just a placeholder to get people to notice and then click into the shop.
Yeah.
You never know though. But random story. Here we go. But there's a really good whiskey shop in Glasgow, and it's got shelves and shelves and shelves. Well, whiskey bar, basically. It's got shelves and shelves of really top rate whiskey, and we were asking what's the most expensive whiskey, and I think it was like £500 a shot or something. And then somebody asked, out of your most expensive whiskies, which is the most popular one? He says, well, the very most expensive, because people don't say, can I have your second most expensive whiskey, please? Like, can I have the most expensive?
That's interesting. Little bit of psychology.
Yep.
Melanie had asked about a question that was posted before the stream started about the Etsy SEO webinar this morning, but we haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So we won't be able to answer any questions on it until we've
I
got.
know. Pesky times shifted, because I didn't realize, and I thought I was going to be watching it just now in time to do the live in an hour's time, but apparently we decided to shift our clocks. So yeah, I lost I lost an hour of my day, and it's totally messed me up.
Yeah. All right. I'm not able to see our Facebook username because BeLive is being a pain in the butt, but we have someone asked 2 weeks ago, I renewed my listing, entered new tags, and wrote a new title, and started tracking on eRank with the track listing. And to my surprise, I see great new views on it. Is there a way to see which keyword in the title or tags was that superstar keyword which brought me a new viewer? Or do I have to guess it by entering on eRank and spotted on Etsy?
Yes. If it's a great number of views, absolutely. If you've connected up your Google Analytics to eRank, it should be there sitting on your spotted on Etsy. You'll see. I actually just did a video on this because, as I said, my shop just went boom like a couple of weeks ago, and I was right. We say don't look at the stats for a short period of time. Don't look at the stats just for yesterday or whatever. But I saw a big spike in views, and I'm like, I want to know where this came from. And I went through all my Etsy stats, and Etsy stats are a bit delayed and they're not great. And then I clicked onto my eRank, and there on the front page of eRank was showing what keyword what keyword I'd got the searches for, and on Spotted on Etsy as well. When you go into there, if you've connected up your Google Analytics, then you'll see what keywords people had found you for. It's in the past day. It's super helpful just for that. You shouldn't be gazing at your stats all the time, but I know if you get a big spike, we all want to know what's happened.
And there's also sorry, I was looking for something, but did you mention the Etsy search analytics within their dashboard as well?
Yes, under marketing, search analytics beta, you can see what keywords people searched for and clicked on you as well there also. It's a great feature, but not many people use it.
Yeah. All right, let's see. It helps that Thanksgiving is early this year. It gives us more time between Cyber Week and Christmas.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
it is a bit early this year. Last year, it felt like we only had a couple days in between before December 1st. It is a little bit earlier. Let's see. Melanie had said Etsy Cyber Sale is starting on the 18th in the app, the 19th on desktop. So that's if you're participating in Etsy's cyber sale that they're having. But still, when we look at Etsy traffic, Black Friday is the day when Etsy sees the biggest spike, even though Cyber Monday is technically the day, and Small Business Saturday, those are the ones that you would hope that people are shopping for handmade businesses and online businesses. Black Friday really seems to just be the day that people are most familiar with. And it used to just be a US thing. But now it's everywhere. Everybody is getting into the Black Friday thing.
Yep, it's Amazon's fault. They just shouted about it so much.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You totally have a sale if it works for you, but people are out Black Friday, whether you have a sale or not, people are throwing money at things. I'm sure we all do it. Like I wait for Amazon's Black Friday, go on there and buy some stuff, but then, my wallet is open. I just go crazy when I start buying things. So after a bit, it doesn't have to be on sale or whatever. You just like, oh, and that, and I need that, and I need that, and other customers are the same.
We've got a couple comments from people agreeing about cost of living right now, and people wanting to hold on to their pennies a little bit more until the holidays when they absolutely have to. A lot of people are probably still saving up to do their holiday shopping, so rather than that nice steady stream, I think that we're going to just get slammed into the holiday season this year.
That is my feeling. And yeah, that's something we mentioned before coming live, but think think about that, and that might be a thing, and look at what you can do. Like, could you create gift cards, like personal gift cards for your shop, or items that ship quickly, or look into the different things you can do for the very great chance that there's going to be a number of people shopping very last minute, and shipping might not be great very last minute. So just see what we can do about these people.
Yeah, I did a big bulk of my holiday shopping on Etsy last weekend, and there were several shops already whose products would not have arrived by Christmas, and I wasn't able to buy from them. Um, but it's just not something that shop even me, somebody who Etsy is me every day, all day, and I'm shopping, in October thinking that things are going to arrive in time and they're not. So it's definitely something to consider, and making sure that you're announcing these things in your holiday advertising on social media. If you've got, an Instagram account or a Facebook account, making sure that you're putting your holiday deadlines real big all over the place. Don't be afraid to remind people. They're not going to be upset that you remind them. So,
Yeah, and if it takes a time to make things, I know quite a few people shut off holiday sales before Black Friday. That's actually something to announce so that people aren't sitting waiting for your Black Friday sale if it's not come. Tell them you've got to buy now, guys, because I'm shutting off soon. So
yeah,
get that scarcity thing.
exactly.
But yes, let people know.
Somebody had mentioned that Kara actually talked about Etsy using a new search engine that takes processing time into account, but I haven't seen anything official from Etsy on that yet, though I haven't been looking for it.
Um,
So
No, I read their developers blog for all the updates on the algorithm and stuff, and I'm constantly changing my processing times, and I've not seen anything.
yeah, so let us give us a chance to double check it, and if it's something that we see, an official source from Etsy themselves, then next week we can maybe talk about it. But I haven't seen anything about it either. So, let's see. Can you explain the difference between spotted on Etsy and the difference between eRank and visitor? Is one more accurate?
Oh,
Wait,
right.
it's a YouTube. There you go.
Oh, right. Yes. You mean on spotted on Etsy, the difference between the eRank monitor and visitor? Yes. Thank you. Great question. Um, So if anyone's on spotted on Etsy and you've connected up your Google Analytics, you'll see the traffic where I can't remember what it's called, the source anyway, where you've been spotted can say eRank monitor. Now that is the old system. That's what we always had. So when you've monitored your keywords, you've put in the keywords that you want eRank to check, and the middle of every night it goes off and it does a rank checking search on the Etsy API and finds out where you're ranking for those keywords. And also, as a bonus, it searches for all the other tens of thousands of keywords that we have in our database and sees if it finds any of your listings ranking in the algorithm in the Etsy search. So that doesn't mean that anyone's clicked on it. It just means that our system's found it. It's done a rank checker. Whereas if it says visitor, this is taking the data from Google Analytics and it's saying that some actual physical person has searched in the Etsy search, seen your listing in the Etsy search and clicked on it. And that's the keyword, that's the exact keyword they searched for, and that's where they saw you in the Etsy search. So neither one are more accurate, they're just giving you different information. So if you've your superstar keyword that you're wanting to get found for, I track that in the Spotted on Etsy to make sure that I'm still ranking in search for it. So that's a good way of just like a daily rank checker. But the visitor one is saying, hey, somebody physically found you for that. So that's even better.
All right. Let's see. Sorry, I was trying to see if there were any updates to Etsy's algorithm that we missed. But aside from the updates for the buyer protection program from August, that's the latest update that I'm seeing. But we will keep digging for you guys to make sure. Okay. Let's see. Oh goodness, 3 chats at the same time. Okay, do you think that offering Christmas themed gift wrapping for your products is important, especially if your regular gift wrapping is not at all holiday themed? I think that the most important thing that you can do for your brand if you're offering gift wrapping is to stay consistent with your brand. If you order a beautiful diamond necklace from Tiffany & Co., they don't send it in a red and green box. They send it in their brand colors, Tiffany blue with a big white ribbon. I think that expressing, your brand colors helps to reinforce things like uh, the ability for your customers to remember your brand based on things like logos and colors. I think that it helps to make your brand seem a lot more established. I know that I'm going to find a brand to be a lot more professional looking if I receive a beautiful branded package with their logo and their branding colors, as opposed to some, Christmas wrapping paper that I can tell that they bought right up at the store. So I wouldn't go out of your way if you want to add something, a little bit holiday themed. I used to tie a little like Christmas charm with my packages, but you can probably, if you've already got a gift wrapping scheme for your products based on your brand, you can probably just stick to that.
And bear in mind, not all gifts will be for that holiday. Some people have birthdays and would maybe appreciate a not Christmas themed stuff, and not all holidays over the season are Christmas. So yeah, maybe if you were thinking of adding if you already gift wrap and you're thinking of Christmas, it might be as well asking the customer if they want Christmas themed gift wrapping if you offer it. Otherwise, I think something plain in your brand colors and in your brand theme, like if Tiffany and those kind of companies started offering like Santa mooning or something, that might not be on brand. So yeah, it depends how fun and what your demographic is as well as to whether that's cool or not.
Yeah. All right, Linda, I had missed your question over on Facebook. I'm sorry. Are they going with the new app with Explore? It's buggy when uploading videos, and I can never figure out how to simply see my shop. It's just not as intuitive as the old app. They're trying to phase out the old app, but they have not perfected the new app. I've honestly just recommended that sellers have both until they
Yeah.
get the new app up to par. But it's good to have because you do have some separate features that you won't have on the old app, like the Explore feature. So
Yeah, it's not quite there yet. Actually, this is the weirdest bit of advice that I've given myself, but I know it helps some people. But I got a phone just before last Christmas that's rubbish, and it's helped me out immensely. It's been great because now it's not very good to get Facebook on. It's a bit rubbish to get any of the apps on. So it means I only work on my Etsy shop. I only answer my messages. I only do all that when I'm sat down at my computer. And when I'm outside, I'm off the books because my phone is so rubbish. So I don't deal with the apps at all. But the new app is going to be the way they go. They are, as far as I can tell, they're committed to it. And when it's not so buggy, I think the old one, people are saying they're seeing the old ones not quite as good as before. It's maybe a bit glitchy. So I'm guessing they're supporting it a little bit less. They will be phasing out. But yes, quite a lot of the time, just take the stuff to the PC. None of the apps are that good yet, really.
All right. So Melanie sent something interesting based on the email that Pam, I guess you'll need to send me this. But this does not allude to a change in the algorithm. So I'm still going to keep looking into that. But apparently the email said shorter processing times on Etsy have shown to help lead to more sales, which, duh, that's pretty basic information.
Yeah.
Based on a January 2021 analysis of the previous 90 days, comparing the conversion rate of listings with different processing times for global non-digital orders. Etsy is pushing short processing times, though. I also got messages if I want to shorten my processing times. This doesn't necessarily mean that the algorithm has changed, though. Etsy tells us to do a lot of things, and we immediately say, oh, it's the algorithm. For example, I was telling all of you right when we got the update about the descriptions, I immediately was like, oh, Etsy said to make sure that your keywords are right at the front of your descriptions. And it was Pam who had to stop me and say, wait, no. They're saying to do that, but they're not saying that it has an impact on the algorithm. And then I started looking at it, and they're right. What they want is for us to make those descriptions better for the shopper who's reading it. They're not saying that put your most important keywords towards the front of your description because it will help you rank. They're saying do this so that the shopper can quickly identify what you're selling. It has nothing to do with rank. We get this question a lot when it comes to conversion rate, because we talk about how sales positively impact your listing quality score. So because of that, a lot of people say, well, if I share my products on social media and everybody goes and sees them, but then doesn't buy, that's going to hurt my conversion rate. And then that's going to hurt my listing quality score. Your conversion rate, the actual percentage that shows in your Etsy shop, does not have an impact on your search ranking. Nowhere by Etsy does it say that your conversion rate directly impacts your search ranking. Having sales in your shop does help, but it's the sale itself, not the conversion rate. So having people visit your shop or your listings and then not buy does not hurt you. So you have to really, really not read between the lines, I guess is
Yeah, read the actual lines. Yes.
Take everything very literally that Etsy says. And if they don't mention because if they change the algorithm and it has to do with actual like rank and search placement, they have to tell us that. They have to tell us if it's something that unless it's, one of the factors that they're keeping privately, but they're not allowed to just keep secrets from us that, we should know that we don't. They have to publish when things like this happen, because it's actions that we should be taking on our part, and they're going to tell us that. So until we have evidence that says otherwise directly from Etsy, I'm going to say that we don't know.
Yeah, no, the wording there is very much like what you're saying. They're saying what they looked into, people on average are buying slightly less when it's longer shipping times, and the conversion rate that does impact eventually. But it's like so many other things. It's a potential impact on your conversion, and that's averaged out over all listings on Etsy. So what's a longer processing time for your type of items might be different. Like if someone's got ready to ship things, people are going to expect them quicker. If they're coming for a handmade, hand carved table to their own specifications, they don't expect next day delivery. So, these are things that the customer behavior is going to affect it, rather than it's a change to the algorithm. Etsy's done lots of researches. I mean, I'll give you an example here, actually. In the thing that I just watched, the investors report, they did say that on the when they were looking into it, star sellers earn more, star sellers make more sales. That doesn't mean that you rank higher for being a star seller. That could mean many factors. Quite likely that because there is a limit, you have to have made over a certain amount in the 3 months to actually get to be a star seller. That could very much be skewing those results, because the people who are not making a lot of sales can't be a star seller. So it doesn't mean the algorithms changed for these things. It's just saying this is something what we've seen.
Yeah. And Planner Kate, #1 seller on Etsy for how many years? She's not a star seller. I just
Yeah.
looked. She's Etsy's top seller, not a star seller. It would be hard to be a star seller with that many sales, keeping everybody 100% satisfied.
Absolutely. I just lost my star seller status by an hour.
Oh, boo.
I left it an hour too late to reply to a message.
Oh, let's see how much you suffer for it.
Well, I actually have checked. My ranking is in exactly the same place, and my stats are still looking good. So we'll see. It's only 3 days in. So
That sounds like a YouTube video. I lost star seller. Here's what happened.
oh, it's already in the list.
Of course. Thinking like a YouTuber is weird. It's like, oh, this terrible thing happened to me. How can I use it?
I know. It's like we said last week when your shop got closed down. Like everyone else would be like going, "Oh no, Starla's like, fab. How
Yes.
many views am I gonna get on this one?"
I know I was hoping to get penalized for the new plaid thing just so I would have some content for it, but no, Etsy apparently likes me. Della had asked if we're going to get Explore for Android anytime soon.
I hope so.
Your guess is as good as ours because we don't know. Let's see. We've got over on YouTube. If you use your desktop computer to publish your listings, do you go back and look to see how the listings look in the app just to make sure everything works? In my experience, everything looks exactly the same on desktop and mobile. However, you might want to double check your about section on your actual storefront, because those photos, it does not matter if you follow Etsy's exact dimensions that they recommend, they never look right on mobile, ever, 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 no matter what you do. I can't figure it out. I've been trying to figure it out for years, and it's always wrong.
Oh, I haven't checked. I'll have to go and look.
Yeah, it's awful.
And that is because more and more customers are buying through the app. More and more customers are searching on mobile. So, yeah, we should be considering how it looks on mobile. No matter how you upload your listings and things, we should care about how it looks, what the experience is like for people buying on mobile.
Yeah.
Which is a different app. That's a third app.
Yes. We now have 3 different Etsy apps, one for shopping, one for selling if you're living in the past, and one for selling that is crappy, but if you want to have the most recent app, then yeah, I've got 3 different Etsy apps now, and
Yeah, you sold them so well. If
I
you're
know,
living in
right?
the past, or you want it to be crappy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are your options. Samantha had said, remember when Etsy glitched and we got a month's worth of visits in a single day last year? That didn't affect the algorithm if you think about it.
Well, yeah, because the
It was,
algorithm knew it wasn't right. I
yeah,
don't think I ever got a month's worth of visits in a day. But yeah, those kind of glitches are likely glitches on the displaying end, not those views weren't real, so the algorithm probably didn't even see them. Or if it did, everybody had the same thing, so you were all on a level playing field anyway. I totally don't remember that glitch. That would have been hilarious.
Samantha said, I haven't had Star Seller in months. My sales are up 160% year on year. Exactly. Exactly. She's got a very giftable product too. So I feel excited for you and bad for you this holiday season because I know you're going to be working very hard. Um, Linda
Yeah.
had said my mobile apps don't show videos. Do you mean you don't mean the Explore videos? Do you mean listing videos? My mobile app does.
They should do, and that was literally something they were was bragging about, mentioning in the investor report how they are proud and rightly so actually. I really like the videos showing. It does, you know, that little autoplay where you see the video, especially when you were thoughtful about how your video connects up to your pictures. It can actually look really cool when that happens.
All right, so we have one more question from Jane. Now that we're about to our last few minutes, she asked, I noticed that Rank Checker only ever shows a maximum of 13 listings for a keyword phrase. Does this mean that we should remove this keyword from additional listings that are not being shown on the first 10 pages and use a different keyword phrase? I asked because of personalization, because a competitor had 61 listings when I searched for the keyword term due to my personalization. So should we not remove this keyword from additional listings beyond the 13 shown on the Rank Checker? And I had somebody who said that you can only rank 13 listings, which isn't true. So I assume, Pam, do you know anything about how we display this data within eRank?
I think we're only showing the top 500. I think Debbie, let me know if I've got I've got too many numbers on the top of my head. We're showing where you are in the top 500. And bear in mind, Rank Checker is searching in the Etsy API before the personalizations. And in the API, to my knowledge, there is still declumping, as it were. So you're only going to get a certain number of listings per page in the API. But then personalizations, as you saw, can mean that an individual will see clumps of listings. So it might mean that your listings in the API where they rank are a little more spread out. But if when you search, Etsy thinks this person's really likely to buy this kind of thing, it is very likely that you can see a clump of more than just 13 listings. There is no limit as far as I know. And the other thing there is where you rank isn't fixed in stone because of these personalizations. And I've certainly found, you know, sometimes maybe the algorithm's shown my listing quite a few times and it's getting a bit fed up of it. And it can show a different listing. So it definitely, you're not, as Starla says a million times a day, you can't compete with yourself there. You can, if it's a relevant keyword, absolutely have it there. It's good to have some backup to then Etsy can kind of stalk your buyer around as they're going through the search pages. It's like, you haven't seen these ones. What about this lot? Try some of these. So yeah, if it's relevant and it's working, don't remove the keywords.
Yeah, absolutely. And Etsy, through, and once again, this is speculation, but it's something that I have been testing for over 10 years now. I personally feel that when you are constantly selling listings that share a common keyword, maybe it's, you know, crystal jewelry, and everything you sell has the terms crystal jewelry, and the metadata behind every review that you've received, if you know, open up the metadata on your computer on a listing page, you can see crystal jewelry also in all of the reviews that someone has left on that page. Over time, I think Etsy does start to see you as that authority, where if someone searches for crystal jewelry and there's a shop that mostly sells handbags, but they have one piece of crystal jewelry, but then there's your shop that exclusively sells crystal jewelry and has lots of reviews for crystal jewelry. I in my experience, especially with my shop where I sold skeleton key necklaces, a very specific but also saturated product, I feel that Etsy is going to recommend the shop that has the best track record with selling crystal jewelry, because there's a lot of history behind those crystal jewelry listings that they're selling over and over again. There are a lot of positive reviews for their crystal jewelry. And I feel that that shop is going to have a lot more authority over that topic, over that niche, than the shop that just has one crystal jewelry necklace that they sell every once in a while, but they mostly sell handbags.
You're
So,
you're right, and you're not speculating. But
okay.
to my knowledge, Etsy only mentioned it once, and it's in the article Your Search Questions Answered. Somebody had asked about one of a kind and vintage shops, and they did mention there that they would because you can't build up a quality score over one item, but they'll also look at how other similar items in your shop have done. So that authority theory is absolutely backed up by what Itzy said there.
Yeah.
And that is, I believe, why we've another reason, as well as how it looks better for customers as well, but another reason how whenever we've sort of advised people that maybe that would do better splitting into a couple of shops, when people have done it, they do tend to do a little bit better. And that is quite possibly because Etsy is now seeing you as an authority on this kind of thing.
Yeah. If you're selling, baby clothes and cigar boxes, those Etsy doesn't see you as an authority on either of those things, because those are very different things. The target audience is different. It's going to be really hard to apply personalization when Etsy doesn't really know, oh, well, who is the target audience? Who should I show these products to in search? So um, don't be the master of everything. If you try to be the master of everything, you'll ultimately be the master of none. But guys, that is it for today. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you click the link down below in the video description so that you can join the eRank group. This will allow you to submit your questions early on Wednesdays. If you're afraid you're not going to be able to make it live, or you just want to cut the line, you can do that. Make sure that if you're new here, you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
See you
guys.
next
See
week.
you next week.